Alright guys, so this is part 2 from my last video where I trimmed down my reef. So as you can see, I have all my macroalgae right here that I've collected. And I have this container right here, and I'm going to put all the macroalgae in here. Okay, so for this video, I'm going to be talking to you guys about how I would dispose of macroalgae. So most people would actually just get their macroalgae and put it in a plastic bag and freeze it. And you can do that. I just want to do this extra step because I want to dump out the water too. And as you can see, there are a bunch of tiny fragments. And just a single fragment can lead to a whole new macroalgae. Like a lot of the macroalgae that I have in my tank, I didn't even purchase. They came as a tiny fragment that I did not see. And now it grew into a huge new macroalgae. So yeah, and I'm gonna leave it in the sun. You want to put it in a spot where it's gonna have basically 24/7 sunlight, because what it's gonna do is the UV light from the sun is gonna be so bright that it's gonna destroy the proteins that make up the cell. And I'll show you what the result is in a few days. Usually forget about it because it's not really something you think about, but when you come back, the longer it is in the light, the better. Alright guys, so I've left it for about 2 weeks out in the sun. As you can see, most of it has died out, except for some chaetomorpha. But most of it lost its chlorophyll because of how bright the ultraviolet radiation is. Now the reason this happened is because the UV light, it actually breaks the weak hydrogen bonds that make up the nitrogenous base pairs of the DNA of the macroalgae, and it loses its ability to reproduce through fragmentation, so it's basically dead. Now the next step I like to do after this is putting it in a Ziploc bag, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Alrighty, so I got my Ziploc bag right here. Now I'm just going to grab it off and put most of it inside the Ziploc bag. And I'm using these tweezers. Alright, so with the excess water, as you can see, all the fragments of the macroalgae has been cleared up and died off. So this stuff is pretty much sanitized. So what you could do is just dump it in an open area where there's light, and it'll just dry out. And maybe the salt water could help kill some nasty weeds that you might not want. But yeah, so this is pretty safe. And most of the water will evaporate anyways. So alright, so now what you want to do with this excess chaetomorpha is just put it in a freezer. So I'll show you how it looks in the morning. Alright guys, so once it's out of the freezer, you can pretty much just dump it in the trash. So I'm gonna do that. So here it is. Okay, and I'm gonna be reusing this bag every time I do this, because I don't want to throw away plastic, because you never know where it could end up, and it's not biodegradable. So I'm always going to be reusing this. But yeah, so that's basically what I do. If you like this video, please make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.